No doubt that the amalgamation of Nigeria as one united country in 1914 has brought the nation more trouble than anticipated by our colonial masters. Lord Frederick Lugard, the British Governor-General who fused the northern and southern protectorates on January 1, 1914, may have acted with administrative convenience in mind. The struggle for power between the North, South, West, and East began almost immediately after independence on October 1, 1960. The First Republic collapsed in chaos as regional rivalry reached a boiling point. On January 15, 1966, Major Kaduna Nzeogwu and a group of mostly Igbo officers launched Nigeria's first military coup, killing Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Premier of the North Sir Ahmadu Bello, and Premier of the West Chief Samuel Akintola. What was framed as an anti-corruption coup was immediately interpreted by the North as an Igbo power grab. 6 months later, on July 29, 1966, Northern officers struck back in a counter-coup, killing the Supreme Commander General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi and installing Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon. Coup upon coup, and with each coup, the fault lines grew wider and the mutual suspicion deeper. Then came the pogroms. Between May and September 1966, thousands of Igbo people living in the north were massacred in ethnically motivated killings. Over 1 million Igbo fled back to the eastern region. On May 30, 1967, Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu, the military governor of the East, declared the independent Republic of Biafra. Nigeria's civil war, the war that Gowon promised would last 3 months, lasted 30 months, from July 1967 to January 1970. Between 1 and 3 million people died, many of them Igbo civilians who perished from the deliberate starvation policy that became the defining image of the war, the kwashiorkor bloated children that shocked the world. When Biafra fell on January 15, 1970, Gowon declared, "No victor, no vanquished." But the truth is that the war birthed the marginalization of the Igbo that persists to this day. No Igbo president in over 60 years of independence, deliberate exclusion from the highest levers of federal power, and an eastern region whose infrastructure was never meaningfully rebuilt after the war. From the tiniest community, the division deepens. In Edo State, there is a struggle for power between the Binis, the dominant group centered around Benin City with its ancient Oba institution, the Isans of Isan land, and the aggregated Edo North, who themselves have their own fierce internal struggles for relevance and representation. In Delta State, there is struggle because the Ijaws, the Urhobos, the Delta Igbo, and the Itsakiras, whose competition for land and political appointments around Warri has historically been bloody, remain locked in contests that politicians deliberately stoke every election cycle. In Akwa Ibom, the struggle is also mind-blowing. In Cross River State, the same applies. And in River State, the power struggle between the Ogonis, who under Ken Saro-Wiwa's Mosop movement from 1990 to 1995 fought for environmental justice before Saro-Wiwa was hanged by Sani Abacha's military government on November 10, 1995. The Ijaws and other communities is endless, and it is often exacerbated by the ruthless politics of oil money. In Ondo State and other western states, even though they almost speak the same language, the struggle amongst the people in political representation is endless. The same applies for the Igbo and many northern and north-central states, where religion now layers onto ethnicity to deepen the fractures further. Why all these, if the country sees itself as one? The simple answer is that this nation has never truly seen itself as one. The evidence shows that they are only living together in pretense and in the assumption of oneness, an assumption sustained largely by the widespread natural resources that the leaders benefit from. And so they would want to try to keep the nation together because dividing the country will reduce the loot and remove the driver of their political ambition. It is not to unite or develop the country. It is to steal the national wealth. There is therefore always a struggle and a fight over which region should govern, between the North, the South, the East, and the West, even though the North greedily frames it as simply North versus South, grouping East, West, and South together as one opposing bloc. It is never about developing the country as one united entity. It is about personal gain disguised as regional tournament. Hence, the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ran on essentially one manifesto in 2023. Emilokan, Yoruba for "it is my turn," and Yoruba Lokon, meaning "it is the Yoruba's turn." Not a development plan, not a unifying vision. A turn. A tribal entitlement dressed up as political ambition. This is the honest truth of Nigerian presidential politics. It is never about uniting the country. It is about personal and perhaps regional gains, though even that is debatable, when the ordinary people of each region remain as poor and as neglected as they were before their son took power. So it is safe to say that many Nigerians who understand this have actually given up on the country, because what divides us is bigger than what unites us. They do not see any change in sight, and the tragedy is compounded by the fact that even the citizens are not ready to make the country work, because they often see nothing wrong with the system as long as it benefits them or benefits their region. The average Nigerian does not ask, "Is this right?" They ask, "Does this favor my people?" And therein lies the deepest problem of all. A nation whose citizens have internalized division so thoroughly that they cannot imagine a country built on anything other than ethnic calculation. Nigeria is not one country living in unity. It is many nations living in pretense, held together not by shared vision, but by the shared appetite of its rulers for a common treasury. Please like and share this video. Follow my page and subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more videos like this.